Oh, hello, and thank you so much for clicking on my video. We're back at it again with some more epic chess. And in today's video, what we're going to do is what we always do. Destroy somebody in a rapid game of chess. Today, we're going to do it on chess.com. Once the game is over, we're going to bring it over to Lichess, and we're going to do the analysis over there because I think that is better. We're going to go ahead, boot up a rapid game, and I'm going to explain my thought process and explain the moves and everything to the best of my ability. Now, I am only 1763 today, so by the end of this game, I'll be 7 points better in ELO. If I win, I get 12 points. That's a lot of points. For the Caro Kann, absolutely. So, this is an opening called the Caro Kann. It's my favorite opening. It's what I play with black, and it's basically going for a more or less equal position. You can defend that with the bishop if you feel so inclined, as long as this guy isn't already out. So we need to do something about this bishop because this guy jumping forward and attacking this will be a problem if I can't scoop my rook over. And right now my bishop's there. So let's just do this. Will he go for the sacrifice? We have two things attacking this. Let's be principled and develop a knight. His attack, his early on attack has somewhat been repelled. Now it's my turn to develop a piece and pin stuff. And what if we get a pawn expansion on this side of the board? So this is the Caro Kann, but generally with a pawn here, these two pawns, this is not necessarily normal. Chasing away the bishop, you don't always see that. So we're going to just scoot back, knee-jerk reaction, and looks like we're just going to have an attacking game of chess because castling this side is a little bit scary for me to go over here because my weird and terrible pawn structure. This is a defender of this. Right now we have dose pieces attacking it. So we're going to push this pawn to defend this, so now that we're not worried about this. What that did is it opened up this pin. Okay, so we're going to break that pin. I guess I could have pushed forward, but I think this is a more or less equal position. That was probably a bad move by our opponent. I'm just going to say that right now. He just traded the bishop for the knight and gave me the bishop pair. And he gets a pawn. That's true. He gets a pawn. But I think he's just getting a little bit lost in the weeds here. So he's trying to be too fancy. He's trying to utilize this pawn pin because, yes, that is a thing. This is only defended by this knight. I can take this knight with check. I mean, whatever recapturing would make the most amount of sense. Always look for checks, captures, and attacks. And so he was trying to be overtly fancy, and I think it's going to cost him the game here. So we're sliding on in here, and we gobble up this bishop. And unfortunately, I still have two minor pieces, and he only has one. And this is pinned. And his pawn structure is absolutely horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. My pawn structure is bad on this side of the board, but I am quite capable of castling kingside. And come and get me, bro. I dare you. Okay. That doesn't even fix his problem. Like, that did not even fix his problem. It might have made his problem worse. This little clump of pawns, I think, was pretty good together. But we're just going to take that back. And that ruined his pawn structures even more. I can force the queen trade right off the bat. I could... I mean, let's just do that. You can trade the queens up a piece while your pawn structure sucks, and my pawn structure is amazing. And when you trade, you don't want to really do that. I don't know what he wants to do. He is in a situation where it's hard to find a good move because he's losing no matter what he does. And that is something you're going to have to learn in chess. Thing number one, don't make crazy fancy moves spending no time. Like, you scoot the king up. I mean, I can jump forward with a check. Yeah, and he resigns. I don't even know how much of an analysis we need for that. I think that I got my point across nice and dandy. I mean, let's run through it one more time. Definitely my opening, probably a couple of these would warrant, and I got 11 ELO for that. Oh, I'm sorry, my friend. I took 11 of his ELO. This, now that I'm thinking about this check, you block like this, because you can't take, because then it hangs this. So I think we play here, but then the knight comes. Then you have to take and he takes, because this opened up generally because what we're worried about is this knight advancement while this guy is pinned, and I don't want to bring my bishop here while the knight is here, and he'll just capture it. So we have to do something like this. He scoots back and we do something else. And then in some positions, after he scoots back, we go here, there's a knight sacrifice. But that was 5 minutes. Let's absolutely just hop into another one. This dude's 1784. We get the white pieces. We start with e4, always. We get the bishop's opening. And like the other opening, studying openings, it's good. To some extent, it's good. That's a weak move. I know that for a fact. He could have... That is also a weak move. So what you're supposed to do when your opponent is making weak moves, I have a lead in development. I feel like I just smash open the center. Right? If he takes, my knight gets in. He takes and my queen gets in. I am almost guaranteed that's what I'm supposed to play here. I mean, I don't think that's a bad move. I don't think it's a bad move. I can take. He'll probably take with a knight. Then I take. Then he takes. I mean, then I can castle. You're also supposed to castle before you like launch a heavy attack. I don't think that did any immediate threats. I mean, he's going to just develop this knight, and then, I mean, these two pawns can't even advance. So I'm questioning if I should spend a little bit of time here and just conjure up an attack. I can jump forward with my knight as well. Then he brings his knight. Then I take. What do I play here? Do I push the pawn forward? I mean, then he probably just jumps over here. And then we have to make a stepping back move, which we don't really want to do. I can develop the bishop. And if he takes, then I take with the knight. I think that is what we need to do. Instead of like figuring out what to do in the center. Okay, let's not deliberate on this for too long. What do you guys want me to do? Boom, boom, boom. Scoot this back. Let's just do this. Did that make any sense? I don't know. He castles, and I'm going to castle the other side of the board because I want to play an attacking game of chess, even though I am down 3 minutes on the clock. If I scoot back, the knight comes in, but then this fork. So hopefully he does go for this. Yes, so he's attacking this, but what you doing about that fork, my guy? You get that with check, yes. I'm going to take with this pawn, but this fork is still a thing. So now I'm just going to grab your knight for no good reason. We grab the knight. Okay, you just want to trade off all of your minor pieces? This pawn, I mean, this is just a very, very simple move here. This pawn is weak. I can develop my bishop with tempo. I am attacking the queen. My bishop was already developed if you want to be real technical about it. He can hit me with this check, but I might just scoot forward with my queen. And so, yet again, I am up a piece. What is the most precise way to win this? I feel like it's going to take a million moves to get this going. I can jump forward. I don't think that that's going to accomplish too much in the position. I just know that it's not a blunder. Right now, I'm not 100% what I'm supposed to be doing here, but I did notice that my queen was not defended. It makes sense to just make a move like this. Okay, that looks scary. I can scoot over and just say, like, are you really going to get through? Or I can run up. And it's like, are you really going to checkmate me? What's the more accurate move? Probably over here, but then these pawns push and he's got an attack. If I just like boom, 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 something like that, I literally think that he's just got no play. Okay. I mean, instead of going here and blocking my bishop, I think I might just play like this. Okay. We scoot back. This is being attacked twice. We would definitely not like to lose my pawn in the center of the board. I am only up a minor piece, which is quite a lot to be up, but what should I do here? What if I just push forward? I mean, that kind of just shreds open my position. Can I move this guy to defend this more? I think that probably makes the most amount of sense. Now the rook sees the queen through all of this. And I will need to play a little bit faster. Unfortunately, his king is very safe, and my king is in the middle of the board. So, literally, if I can get this rook and get my king over here, there's two things that I can do, essentially. I can just launch a crazy attack, and I know that I'm essentially going to win. Or I can try and hide my king and trade off the pieces equally into an endgame where I also know that I'm going to win. All that I have to do to not lose this is just don't blunder. And he's trying to open up the position. Bro, please. I can take this and attack the queen. I mean, but then it's going to be hard. Maybe I go like this. Okay, we can take a pawn and attack the queen. Can't be a bad move. We then what do we do? I can defend it as well, and if takes, then takes. I actually think that I like that. He's got this check over here, but we're not super scared about it. I don't know what that move accomplished, but my knight arriving to this square is going to be absolutely horrendous for the opponent. So I think he wants to do something like this. This check. Then here, then here. Then here. And it's all kind of held. I could just even scoot the queen over. Fairly certain. Oh my god. 3 minutes left. Don't worry. I'll play a little bit faster. I'll stop making all these nonsense moves. We're just going to block with the queen. He absolutely doesn't want to take the queen. I don't know why he did that. In my opinion, that was the worst move he could have possibly made. I then put my knight to this amazing square. Yes, you've got this pawn over here. I just don't think that he's going to be able to defend it. I'm going to stop. I mean, we probably want to stop that guy from moving forward, right? With the simple idea of double the rooks. This is his last asset in the position. I can even scoot the king over. I mean, that's what we need to watch out for. If we don't let him make a queen, we win the game. Plain and simple. So he wants to attack my knight. I'm pretty sure that I can attack the rook. I mean, I'll let him take this. I think we're going to attack this rook. Then we take this pawn. He doesn't want to take this, I promise you that. I mean, we scoot a rook over to defend that. That's not really what we want to be doing here. Maybe I scoot back and I trap the rook and then scoot over the king. Probably that was the right idea. Let's trap the rook. I like that idea. Way better. We're going to trade off this minor piece. I do not care about this pawn at all. We're scooting back here. You get this pawn, but I'm going to try and get your rook, bro. And your rook has no moves at all. Plain and simple. the king attack. The king is a very, very powerful piece in an endgame. I know that I'm up a minor piece, and so that's why it's so easy to find good moves, is because pretty much all of my moves are winning. We're going to attack this rook. This is defended. This is defended. Everything is defended. Go ahead. Now, what's the best way to do this? Don't think that it really matters. I mean, just be accurate until the very end. This pawn is, I mean, yeah, resign. I think we can run that one in Lichess, and I'll bring it over there. But let's run through it very briefly without the computer, I suppose. I know in this position, I was supposed to be making more forward moves. Castle, and I step back. Actually, I'm not sure. I think that I did play this quite accurately. I don't know what our opponent was trying to do over here. I made a little defensive structure. My king is a little weak. And then he just trades off his queen. Like, what are you doing? You never trade off the queen when you're down this much stuff. And then, like, yes, you have a passed pawn, but bro, never in a million years is it, like, I don't even have to move my rooks and it's still not promoting. And so let's bring it over to the analysis. I maybe missed some interesting stuff, but I think something else to note was towards the end game, I was maybe not making the most accurate moves, but that doesn't matter. I was going to win no matter what. So you don't have to make the best move when you've got less than half of the time of your opponent. It makes sense to just make a move. It's a good move. It's good enough. Okay. As long as it's not like a huge blunder, just make the move. You're fine. You don't have to always play the best move always, unless you're losing. Then you got to play fast and play the best move, or you're probably going to lose. So, all right, I'm going to bring it over to Lichess, and I'll see you guys over there. And here we are in the analysis. And as I hypothesized, I played an incredibly accurate game. Our opponent made it quite easy to play the best moves because they were very obvious. And so there was an inaccuracy in the very beginning. I got 3 inaccuracies. 2 of those don't matter. Like I said, at this point, I know that I'm winning the game. So I just needed to be making moves. And so not going way below on the clock and making a really bad blunder later on, it's better to play a decent move quickly than the best move but use all of your time. Because then the remaining moves in the rest of the game, you have less time and you're more likely to blunder. So sometimes even what I'll do in low time situations is I'll like calculate one line, see that it doesn't work, and then my next best option that I had like considered, I'm like, oh, this move or this move, and then I calculate one line and it sucks and I see that it's bad. I just make the second move because you don't have all the time in the world. Just make the second move. In low time decisions, that's what you got to do. If you find one thing and it doesn't work, well, hopefully the next one does. Either way, 95% accurate, 3 inaccuracies, 0 mistakes, 0 blunders, and our opponent 4 inaccuracies and 1 blunder. I'm not sure. I know what the blunder was. Actually, what am I talking about? And 87% accurate, which is a remarkably high level of accuracy for what I feel like I faced. I feel like I completely steamrolled that guy. He never had a chance. And so, I mean, if you look at this, there was never a moment that I was not crushing. Like in the beginning, it was like, could have been crushing more and I missed it, but you can see right here is my inaccuracy right here. Okay, let's go back to the beginning of the game and let's see what I missed, because a6 and h6, those are weak moves. You do not want to be pushing pawns on the side of the board. You want to control the center, okay? So there are a million different ways you can do that. You can support it with a flank pawn to then promote a pawn in the middle. You can use a bishop to the center. The knights can do it a number of different ways, or even reroute like this and support. You want to control these 4 center squares, okay? Everybody knows that. And so doing moves on the side of the board for no reason is not a good move. So we develop, and he makes a weak move. Oh, the computer is even saying that I'm supposed to just solidify the center and play. I develop the knight, break open in the center. I knew it. Best move. Your opponent has neglected to develop more pieces. He has 1 knight. I have 2 knights and a bishop already involved, and I'm quite soon to break in the center and have my bishop and my queen also involved. And so we break in the center. He plays one of the best moves, which is hard to explain why that's one of the best moves. It looks counterintuitive because now you can never push these pawns. And if you can't push these pawns, your bishop can't get involved. So essentially, this formation makes this bishop suck, and these pawns suck. And this queen only has one option on this diagonal, okay? Instead, I was supposed to just take. But I didn't do that because I wanted to develop more pieces. Then I kind of was like, what should I do? It's interchangeable. I can make any of these moves. Then we castle long. And it's still an equal position, but I think that I still have a little bit easier to play of a position. Now, this was setting a trap for the opponent. This was setting a trap. I thought about it and I realized he probably didn't see this fork. You can't always play like that. So I basically gave up my light square bishop because he could have just simply like made a move to not let that happen. He could have just developed a bishop, and then this isn't going to work because it's still defended by the knight. But once the knight goes over here to chase my bishop, this is now defended by the knight and only attacked once. So all you got to do is just count. Like, can I capture a piece? How many attackers do I have? You need to have one more attacker than they do defenders, okay? Plain and simple. And so he comes over here and we get the fork. And like, yes, you're going to get my light square bishop with check, but that did not fix this situation. So he jumps forward, we take the knight, of course, he takes here. Best move, don't understand why. He takes with the queen, and then, I mean, like I said, whatever I do is winning. We develop, we put a rook in the middle, and like I said, this one I thought would be the top computer move, because like realistically, how are you actually going to get to me? But this move is safer. Okay, instead of like stepping over here where he potentially does have an attack, like all of this, just go in the center. I am quite well protected by my armada, like literally everything. And so another option I had was to scoot the rook over after that. We developed the queen, we scoot the bishop back. I was supposed to scoot it forward. You're generally supposed to scoot pieces forward. I scooted it back. This seemed a little flimsy to me. Now we put it over here. Okay, so literally, okay, whatever. We take the pawn, we are attacking the queen moves, we defend this, because now I have like a little bit more of a defensive structure over here, okay? He comes in with this check in just a moment. I could have pushed the pawn, but going for the queen trade makes sense, because if he trades the queens, he's never winning this game. Absolutely never winning this game. And so we put the knight on a well-defended square. The only way he's getting rid of it is trading off his light square bishop, which he really does not want to do. He needs to keep his light square bishop. We scoot behind this pawn, because why not? Scoot up, because I don't want him pushing any further. I don't think he's going to make it, but whatever. And there's a lot of different moves we can do here, but I can see that I win a pawn by doing this. We grab the pawn. The rook gets in. We protect the pawn. Take. He's going for this pawn. But like I said, maybe it's not technically the best computer line. Taking the pawn is the best computer line. Whatever. We trap this rook in jail. So like, yes, we're giving up this pawn, but the rook is never escaping. He can't go anywhere. He has no legal moves, and I'm stepping over. He's going to get the bishop, but I got your rook. I don't care about this bishop. And now this is a passed pawn. And also with that, the king is cut off. So I have a passed pawn, and the king can't even get into the game. And I've got an extra rook, bro. So he takes the pawn, and instead of taking here, because I realized that, like, if he takes here, then I take here. He can take this with check. Then I got to do something. You don't got to go for all that. Just defend the pawn. Just defend the pawn. This is still just as much a problem, and I can bring the king and win it like that. So realistically, my real inaccuracy of the game was developing this piece. I guess one thing we need to learn from this, when you have a lead in development, you're really supposed to break open in the center. I kind of just moved my pawn to pretend like I was going to break in the center, and I didn't break in the center. And that gave away a decent chunk. We go to 1.3 to 0.8, so it's actually substantial. And so, whatever. He's this way, I'm this way, I got the lead in development. I hope my camera's not lagging going through all this. Well, let me know in the comments. I'll watch this as well. And so, we absolutely are destroying these kids on chess.com. They cannot handle the smoke. And so on Lichess, I'm 1900 rapid, And so I think maybe I've still got some catching up to do. I just don't play on chess.com all that often because I like Lichess better. So as you can see, we're looking at the Lichess database with a chess.com game. So either way, that is definitely enough of the time, of your time. If you feel so inclined, please like and subscribe. I love you. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Goodbye.